Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am the three-time Naboxed Award-winning Naboxed. And I have officially returned to the British Columbia. I'm at the Flight Museum in Langley. So I'm here to do a little bit more of a full video here, because I did it as I came here as part of the Tourism Challenge, not in 2025 but 2024, and of course that was like when I do the Tourism Challenge videos, it's like I'm hitting like 2 or 3 different spots in a day, so I do like small bits at each one. But today I decided I had the time. I wanted to come back here and give these guys a little bit more attention. So we're gonna look around and see what we can find. So I see here the Beechcraft Expediter, the Beech 18. So the display here says the C-45 is a military version of the Model 18, hence the common name Beech 18. Light commercial transport that flew on January 15th, 1937. 5,204 military models were delivered during World War II. A number of C-45 transports served with the RCAF, Royal Canadian Air Force, from 1944 through 1967, under the name Expediter 3NM, 3NMT, 3T, etc., as a twin-engine navigational trainer, crew transport, and a hack or taxi. Versions of both the C-45 and its civil counterpart, the Model 18, served with 30 of the world's air forces. Between 1958 and 1964, the 2 local RCAF auxiliary units, 442 and 443 squadrons, flew about a dozen of these aircraft. One of the first business airplanes readily available surplus after World War II, these popular aircraft underwent many modifications and engine variations. Some, including a few fitted with seaplane floats, still fly commercially. This aircraft served with RCAF 401 Auxiliary Squadron Montreal, 403 Auxiliary Squadron Calgary, plus RCAF stations Rivers, Portage de la Prairie, and Summerside. It was sold as surplus in the 1960s and bore the civilian registration CF-CKT, and during its career was used mostly for smoke jumping. Purchased by the Canadian Museum of Flight in 1982, it was airlifted to the museum in 1984 from Abbotsford Airport by Okanagan helicopters. And the technical details are serial CA180/A782, CF-CKT, RCAF 2307, manufactured 1952. The engines are 2 450 HP P&W R-985-AN-3 9-cylinder radial. Maximum speed of 225 miles per hour. Empty weight 5,785 pounds. Loaded weight 9,000 pounds. Span of 47 feet and 7 inches. And length is 33 feet 11 inches. Height of 9 feet 3 inches, and the wing area of 349 square feet. So the reason I'm going in about this plane is because I noticed that there is actually some stairs here, because I came on I came on a lucky day in that some of the cockpits are actually open. Now I'm a big guy, I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable going in some of these cockpits, but this one there's no seat. I don't see any seats, but just the door's open, so I'm going to see if I can just peek on in and go up the stairs here. Yeah, so as you can see inside here, it's a little bit short for me, so I'm not quite comfortable going all the way in, but okay. As you can see here, bada bing, bada boom.
What are you trying to do, take pictures?
Video.
Oh, video.
If you're an engine guy and a gear guy, I have got the room for you. So I'm just going to step deeper in. We have for a lot of the engines here, like the Ranger L440, the Lycoming Go 435, the PZL AI-14RA. So let's take a look around and see what you guys like. So this guy we see here is the Rolls-Royce Dart 506 turboprop. This is one of the most successful early turboprop engines and was built by Rolls-Royce in the UK. In 1943, Rolls-Royce experimented with a turbine engine driving a propeller. This led to test flights of the RB-53, later named Dart, in a Lancaster bomber in 1947. To reduce weight, the reduction gearbox was redesigned and the oil tank was made integral with the air intake housing. The engine was chosen to power the Vickers Viscount airliner. The Viscount's flight in 1948 was followed by being the first turbine-powered airliner in the world when it entered service in 1950. The initial Dart engine in 1946 produced 990 HP. I guess that's horsepower. I'm sorry, I'm not that big of a technical wizard, so if you're watching this, feel free to correct me on anything I'm getting wrong. Final version of the Dart produced over 3,400 horsepower. Over 7,000 engines were produced before the Dart went out of production after 40 years. The Dart was used on the Vickers Viscount, Armstrong Whitworth Argosy, Avro 748, the Fokker F-27, Handley Page Dart Herald, Grumman Gulfstream 1, and the NAMC YS-11. It was also used to convert Convair 440s to turboprop power, being known as Convair 640. This engine is from a Trans-Canada Airlines Viscount 700 that was powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Dart 506 turboprop engines rated at 1,400 horsepower. So there you go. A little bit of engine talk for those who appreciate engines. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the missile with a man in it. Referred to as the missile with a man in it, the CF-104 single-seat version was built in Canada under license by Canadair in Cartierville, Quebec. It was envisioned as a high-speed, high-altitude point defense interceptor against the relatively poor maneuvering manned bombers threat that existed in the early 1950s. The first aircraft produced by Canadair flew in May 1961, with 200 single-seaters, CF-104s, being produced for the RCAF. 22 Lockheed-built two-seaters, CF-104D, were also used by the RCAF. After the RCAF production order was filled in June of 1963, Canadair produced another 140 aircraft for other countries. The aircraft in later years provided a measure of unparalleled stability in the low-level, high-speed environment until phased out in 1986. The majority of the Starfighters were transferred to the Turkish Air Force. The museum's aircraft was one of a number of Lockheed-built two-place trainers, spending its flying career at Canadian Forces Base Cold Lake, Alberta, before becoming a battle-damaged repair airframe at Mountain View, Ontario, near CFB Trenton. Okay, those are part of the outdoor exhibits. There's also like an indoor area, so I will take the time to, first off, I'll show you some model airplanes that they got when you come into the inside. So we'll take a quick wander around inside and we'll see what we have. I'll just give you the names of some of the crafts in here. That's the Havilland DH-82C Tiger Moth. The Waco YNF, an SC-5A replica, the Jacobs L-6MB, the Waco AQC-6. We also have a few more engines on display inside, as well as that, other than that corridor that I showed you earlier. So let's take a look and see what other engines that are on display here. So there is one more aircraft. It's sort of like on the other side. So there's the entrance, and there's the first outdoor bit, and then there's the indoor bit, and on the other side there's one more open spaced aircraft. So, and it's the Canadair Lockheed T-33 Silver Star. Oh look, we also found the North American Norduen Harvard MK or Mark IIB. And there is also a space here dedicated to Canadian women in aviation. You can learn about people like Jenny Gibbons, who is an astronaut, combustion scientist, and mechanical engineer. Maylene Fedor. My apologies for any name I'm butchering. Let's see. She was a pilot. Also, Captain Sky Simpson, pilot from the 436 Transport Squadron, 8-Wing Trenton. There's Annie Lee, Canada's first aviatrix. It was around 1918 when Annie Lee started her flying lessons in Saskatoon with Kang Hwa School of Aviation. The flight school was established to train pilots for Sun Yat-sen's efforts in China. Called Free-Spirited, Annie purchased her own aircraft, which unfortunately was destroyed by her instructor. She continued her training with several other instructors, of which the last was Edmonton's Captain Wap May, a World War I flying ace who was instrumental in developing a search and rescue parachute program. With her husband, Annie ran the Depot Cafe in Edmonton. She was also a talented actress who took part in Chinese plays during a time when relatively few women were allowed to perform. It was said that Annie Lee was a tribute to the emancipation of women in China. You can also find out about Freya Inkster, who was or is an... Oh, let's see. Well, she started her AME apprenticeship in 2015, so I'm assuming she's still going. So she's an aircraft maintenance engineer. Kathleen Fox chairs Transportation Safety Board, parachutist, pilot, and instructor. And Karen McGregor, a CCG senior pilot. So speaking of women in aviation, there's also Maurice Carmichael. When she was 6 years old, she attended her first Bagotville Air Show, and that's what made her want to get into this line of work. She joined, as soon as she could, she joined the Canadian Air Cadets in Quebec City, where she obtained both her glider and power pilot licenses. In November 2000, Maurice became the first CAF Snowbirds' first female pilot and the first female pilot on a jet demonstration team in the world. Now, it is not a proper Canadian flight-based video if I don't talk about the Snowbirds. There are show planes, like you'll see air shows, and Canadians, ours are the Snowbirds. So here we have the Canadair CT-114 Tudor. I may or may not have touched on this one back in a couple years ago, but I'm going to touch on it again, if so. Canadair started design of this jet trainer in 1958, the first flight being in January 1960. The Tudor has side-by-side seating for a single turbojet engine built by Orenda Engines in Canada. The Tudor was built in two versions between 1963 and 1967. 190 CL-41As for the RCAF and 20 CL-41Gs for the Royal Malaysian Air Force. With the Canadian Armed Forces, the Tudor is designated CT-114. It was used from 1963 until 2000, when it was replaced with the CT-156 Harvard II and the CT-155 Hawk as primary jet trainers. Controls and systems of the Tudor are relatively simple, with hydraulic power to the landing gear, flaps and nose wheel steering, and manual flying controls. The cabin is pressurized and zero-level ejection seats are fitted. It is fully equipped for navigation, instrument, and night flying training. The Tudor is best known in North America for the formation aerobatics of the Snowbird team, who have performed in the Northwest Territories to Mexico. Or from the Northwest Territories to Mexico. Officially known as 431 Air Demonstration Squadron, the team has 15 Tudors, 11 of which travel with the team during the air show season. The museum's Tudor was used in the Snowbird team in the mid-70s. It has been refinished in the colors of Snowbird pilot Captain Miles Selby, who was tragically killed while flying a Tudor in December of 2004. It was a fitting memorial to Captain Selby and all the men and women who have flown the CT-114. The Tudor was acquired from Crown Assets in 2005 and transported from Ontario by museum members. So, my condolences to the Selby family. Obviously, since he passed, it was just 22 years ago, so I'm gonna assume that he still very much has living family around. So let's take a look at let's check out the machine itself. So I think that'll wrap it up for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it, and nice little way to pass a few hours if you're interested in like airplanes and mechanical stuff. So by all means, come on down to Langley and check out the Canadian Museum of Flight. And until next time, folks, bye everyone.